Hello and welcome to News Blitzer. The implication of the absence of a Hindu priest during Trump's inauguration while those from other faiths were present was not lost on astute observers. Particularly so considering Trump's earlier proximity to Hindutva groups in the US which organized the Howdy Modi event. At the same time, the right-wing Hindus in US have been claiming Hinduphobia in the US following Hindus being openly derided by Americans and also due to the desecration of some temples. But contrary to the claims, it is not Hinduphobia that is at work. Social media posts suggest that irrespective of religion, Indians in general are beginning to face disdain in the US. In fact, some of the videos are so offensive against Indians we are constrained to not include them here. The fact is, a detailed analysis supported by ground assessments reveals that the growing anti-Indian sentiment is fundamentally the disgust of Americans, primarily triggered by 6 key aspects concerning the overboard activities of right-wing Hindus in the US. Number 6. Hindu right-wing organizations and figures in the US are consistently accused of promoting Islamophobia and intolerance toward other religious minorities. In 2022, a parade in Edison, New Jersey, organized by Hindutva cadres featured a bulldozer, a symbol linked to anti-Muslim violence by the state in India. The event sparked outrage, with many local political leaders and religious outfits condemning it as an attempt to glorify religious persecution. Due to this, city councils in the US distanced themselves from the Hindu right-wing outfits while several senators condemned the incident. Further, Hindu right-wing groups and their members have also been accused of spreading anti-Muslim rhetoric in the US. In 2021, Francesca Albanese, the UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights, criticized the role of Hindu nationalist groups in spreading hate speech online. Such hatred on the basis of religion, race, color and culture conflicts with American ideals of diversity and peaceful religious coexistence. A blowback against it was inevitable. Number 5. The Hindu right wing in the US regularly targets progressive folk and organizations in the US over issues like minority rights, academic freedom, and historical narratives. In 2021, a group of Hindu right-wing activists attempted to block the Dismantling Global Hindutva Conference, claiming it was anti-Hindu. Similarly, the groups have protested against textbooks in California and Texas that discuss caste discrimination, arguing that these portrayals are biased even though it is an ancient truth that is starkly visible even today. Consequently, many liberal academics and activists in the US who influence public opinion contend that Hindu nationalist groups in the country attempt to whitewash history and silence dissent and truth. However, Americans in general don't tolerate such distortion of truth and suppression, leading to tensions with progressive and liberal groups who have publicly exposed the Hindu right wing and its ideology. In the process, the right-wing Hindus have been portrayed as regressive and harmful to the US. Number 4. Following long-drawn efforts by human rights and the lit groups in the US against caste discrimination at work and in employment, the Hindu right wing in the US has openly opposed efforts to legally recognize caste-based discrimination, arguing that it unfairly targets Hindus. For instance, a tech giant cancelled a talk by the lit activist Dainmoli Soundarajan in 2022 after upper caste Hindu right-wing employees protested. In another case, a trial is underway in a US court against tech giant Cisco for caste discrimination at workplace. Caste discrimination is a real issue in workplaces and universities in the US. More importantly, such efforts by the Hindu right wing in the US portrayed all Hindus as patrons of discrimination and oppression. This added to the growing negative perception of Hindus as it denotes them as a danger to equality, liberty and fraternity, which are at the core of American society. Number 3. Hindu right-wing organizations in the US are accused of lobbying to influence American politics in ways that benefit India's ruling BJP. A 2020 report by Al Jazeera and The Caravan revealed that the outfit Overseas Friends of BJP was actively involved in lobbying US lawmakers to support Modi's policies, including those related to Kashmir citizenship laws. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, the ideological parent of the BJP, also has branches in the US, such as the Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, which observers say engages itself in influencing and shaping policy discussions in favor of the BJP. This kind of political lobbying and foreign intervention undermines U.S. interests and democratic values. A reaction to it from Americans, particularly the politically conscious ones irrespective of their political alignments, was inevitable. Number 2. The Hindu right wing in the US is closely linked to India's Bharatiya Janata Party, which has been accused of eroding both democracy and democratic institutions in India. The Modi government's suppression of dissent, including arrests of journalists and activists, has also been widely condemned by literally every international human and civil rights organization worth its salt. In addition, in 2022, the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, OSIF, recommended placing India on a list of countries of particular concern due to rising religious intolerance under the BJP government. This move was supported by several US-based civil rights groups and senators who have deep roots in American society. This influenced American perceptions of US-based Hindu right-wingers and groups that support such policies. Number 1. Hindutva, as it has played out, promotes the idea of India as a Hindu nation at the expense of religious minorities like Muslims and Christians, and also the subaltern castes and tribal folk. For Americans, especially those who value religious freedom, equality and pluralism, this is exclusionary, discriminatory and abusive. In 2019, even US lawmakers of Indian origin such as Pramila Jayapal and Rokh Khanna criticized Hindutva-linked groups for their role in religious intolerance in India. Similarly, protests erupted in the US after the 2019 Citizenship Amendment Act and National Register of Citizens in India, which are seen as discriminatory against Muslims. At the same time, many American civil rights organizations, such as the American Civil Liberties Union and Human Rights Watch, condemn these policies, citing extensive human rights violations including regular state-patronized religious violence. Importantly, with mainstream US Hindus failing to disown their right-wing Hindu counterparts as not being representative of all Hindus, the problem tends to be seen as emanating from Hinduism itself. In all of this, what's worse is that the fallout affects not only right-wing Hindus but all Hindus and all Indians as well. This is because common Americans have no way of identifying the right-wing Hindus from the rest. As a result, all Indians tend to be seen as coming from the same flock. Clearly, this is a situation that the right-wing Hindus in the US created for all Indians. Instead of integrating into American society and getting on with their adopted nation's social and political structure and vision while retaining their religious identity, they demonstrated to be wanting to recreate the same conditions they wanted to escape from by abandoning India in the first place. Now that the backlash against Indians has begun, no one knows how far it will go. One hopes things do not further aggravate. Do use the comments box to express your views on the subject too, and if you have not already done so, kindly subscribe to this channel for cutting-edge news reports, special reports and analysis. Thank you once again for watching this video.